This is an assignment support video for the Entrepreneurship in Sport module. This video will outline the key sections required by the group and will outline the content and word count for each section. There is a guidance template on Blackboard in the Assessment 1 folder which outlines some of the key sections and key subheadings required with some examples of questions or ideas to think about when constructing that section. In terms of the written piece, we are looking at group providing one document with equivalent of 1,500 words per student. This will also include the final pitch presentation. To be clear on the pitch presentation, these will be videoed presentations of 10 minutes in length and will be pitched around your products, whether it be tangible websites or apps. Then there will be a clear presentation outlining the elevator pitch process and information from this written business plan that you will submit. So outline clearly the three key sections required for this submission. Section 1, the prototype section, will link to the deliverable 1 we've been working towards. Section 2 will be your marketing and promotional plans and services. And Section 3 will be a small section outlining the team process. The main element of deliverable 3 will be to deliver your poster presentation. Again, reminder that the poster presentation effectively will be a 10-minute presentation around your service product. The likelihood is that this will be based around your website and or a product. This 10-minute session will be videoed for the external examiner. So section 1, 2 and 3 will come in as a written business plan template. I'd like you to consider constructing your business plan template around a credible business plan submission. So I'd like you to consider that the document should reflect your company and your brand rather than being an academically constructed paper with double line spacing. I'd like it to look and feel like your company document. The template I've provided is a generic template which can be altered, and the subheadings and sections are populated as a guide to the flow of the report. To remind you, the major sections of a normal business plan would include an executive summary, business model, financial goals, which would include a description of your product, and then a section on market analysis, solutions, and your pricing or go-to-market strategies, channel pricing, promotional sales plans. At this stage, we're not going to worry about the other core elements of the business planning process, but your section 3 will outline some of the principles here. If you'd like to pause and consider some of the key points on this slide, then they're linked to the key elements of the broad section 1 and section 2 of your assignment. So section 1 will be minimum of 1,000 up to 1,500. I will accept a larger section, but no more than 2,000. This is about clearly stating your company mission, vision and value statements, clearly articulating a description of your product, so in terms of features and functions, outline the value proposition, the intended use, and your broad business model approach. As you can see, there are clear weightings next to each point of how much marks will be allocated within the 1500 to 2000 words. In terms of your working model, that will be presented in the presentation later on in the assessment process. Please refer back to the lectures on constructing your mission, vision, value statements and understand what the purpose is, i.e. what business are we in, an expression of your preferred state. You're all startup companies, so consider how you can construct this, and what do you stand for. In terms of considering your product and your business model, think about what you're providing, what solutions, problems are you solving for your customers, what relationships of how you're going to deliver that, and the revenue streams and cost structures that you might need. So in simple terms, when we've looked at business model strategies, who are your customers, what are we offering them, how are we going to do it, and how are we going to generate that revenue. This section will need to outline your product features, so I will be expecting to see screenshots or mock-ups of your product in this section with features outlined, especially if they're distinctive features that you are arguing are different from competitors. This can be highlighted on diagrams or described underneath screenshots or alongside screenshots or website shots. This should outline the process and certainly the revenue models that you're constructing. So is it a freemium based model? Is it a subscription based model? Are you looking for affiliate based marketing? That should be clearly identified and examples shown. If you're going to use advertising, use screenshots to show where that might go. Section 2 is quite a large section of work. This will be between 2,000 and 3,000 words maximum. And this is to do the market analysis and potential sales strategies that you're going to put in place. Here I'll be looking for a clear market analysis, so size, type, potential of customers, your competitive environments, and any other macro influences. That's going to be the bulk of this section, up to 40% of the words. In terms of outlining your market and branding to be associated with a product, I will be looking for brand guidelines and how you will construct your basic premises for the marketing mix. So how are you going to bring the product to market? What channels? How are you going to price it? Is that pricing considering the product development costs as well as the costs of the channels you hope to sell? And I would also be looking for examples of your promotional strategies in this section. So in terms of the market analysis, who is your target market? How big is that sector? Is it growing? Is it retracting? Think about using market analysis sources such as Mintel to help you justify and explain the size and the scope of the market. You can access Mintel via the Databases tab under Summon. Think about the customer profile. Who is your target customer, whether that be an end user customer or a business to business customer. Also think about the broader environment in terms of this market analysis. So are there key trends? What are the market forces? The broader macroeconomic forces and industry forces. So here you may apply Porter's 5 forces for competitor analysis and a broad pest analysis, political, economic, social, technology, to show the state and future influences within the market. We've used customer empathy maps. You may present information like this. think about the specific issues for that customer group using segmentation profiles to support. And in terms of the competitive environment, using Porter's 5-process model as a way of outlining who may be existing, who may come in the future, and are there alternative services, how big are they, how much of the market share do they have, and potentially influences from people who are distributing your product or people that might be supplying tangible or intangible services or materials to develop your product in terms of the suppliers. This section also requires a sales plan, which will include the key elements of your brand, your marketing mix, and a promotional strategy. So I'd like you to produce a set of brand guidelines explaining how they to your mission, visions and values. Some examples. I would also like you to consider your sales plan. So this initially will start with the key elements of the marketing mix. So your pricing strategies, your distribution strategies, as well as already outlining the key features of the product and any augmented services that you're offering. And then considering a full promotional mix strategy. So what media and channels are you going to use that will be consistent with your audience? What sort of messages are you going to send, and what end results are you hoping for? I'd like you to produce some examples of what you're going to construct. So if it is for digital or social media, what will the campaigns look like? If it's for more traditional media, what will the campaigns and imagery look like? Finally, section 3 is a smaller section. The poster presentation will be again a presentation around your websites and or your product. The whole presentation will be up to 1,500 words, but there is a small written element that needs to be constructed for the submission on the week beginning the 23rd of February. This small section will be a one-side summary explaining the process of your team development, the roles of your team members, and an evaluation of the level of success of the team, all of which will require some academic theory related to entrepreneurship. So this one side of A4 will how and what stages your team developed the end idea. So through ideation, the creative process, how you formed, and how you got to the final production stage. So just some bullet points or flowchart identifying the clear stages of the process that you went through. Again, think about the design and ideation processes we considered in the first series of lectures through to product design and development and the pitching process. You also need to identify the roles of team members, so effectively the team members can be listed and any specific roles that were allocated to them, and maybe a small paragraph identifying why you chose those roles for those people. Was it down to key strengths? Was it down to the networks that they had? And again, maybe refer to some of the entrepreneurial literature around bootlegging startups, working within small, medium enterprise environments, the individual setup, and social capacity, i.e. networks available. Finally, I need you to consider how successful you feel the team has been in this initial process from idea generation through to final pitch or preparation for final pitch. Just a quick reflection on how you feel that the team has developed, which will need to include any evaluation and analysis of whether you thought that the process you undertook was effective. Did you follow some clear planning guidelines as presented by any clear literature, and whether you can develop a brief action plan for your poster pitch presentations, which will take place later in the examination process. Your presentations will be around your websites and or product, and will be presented after submission of this piece. Please ensure that you access the template on Assessment 1 folder. This should provide a clear guidelines for sections 1 and 2, with a separate document identifying what you would need to think about for section 3. This video will also be placed in this folder.